In the quiet Ghanaian village of Asekuma, nestled among rolling hills and cocoa farms, Kofi Mensah stood before a cracked mirror in his small mud brick home. It was a warm Saturday morning, and today was his wedding day. Dressed in a borrowed Kent suit, his hands trembled as he adjusted the colorful cloth over his shoulder. Kofi, a skilled carpenter with no steady work, had little to his name but a heart full of love for Oma, the daughter of a wealthy cocoa merchant. "I have no money, no land, only love," Kofi whispered to his reflection, his dark eyes clouded with worry. "Will it be enough?" His cousin, Kwame, burst into the room, a wide grin on his face. "Kofi, the bride is ready. Stop staring at yourself like a shy boy," Kwame teased, holding a small calabash of palm wine. "Are you sure about this? Oma's used to fine things. Her father's money buys her silk dresses and gold bangles." Kofi sighed. "I know, Kwame. Her father paid for this suit, this wedding, even the goats for the feast. But Oma loves me. She sees beyond my empty pockets." Kwame placed a hand on Kofi's shoulder. "You're a good man, Kofi. Keep faith in God and your hands. One day, you'll build more than chairs, you'll build a future." Kofi nodded, forcing a smile, and followed Kwame to the village square, where the wedding awaited. The square was alive with music, drums and xylophones filled the air. Guests in vibrant Kent and Ankara clapped as Oma appeared, radiant in a white gown adorned with gold embroidery. Her father, Mr. Owusu, a stout man with a commanding presence, walked her forward, his face beaming with pride. The pastor blessed the union, and Kofi slipped a simple brass ring onto Oma's finger. "I do," Kofi said, his voice steady despite the doubt in his heart. "I do," Oma echoed, her eyes meeting her father's before returning to Kofi. The crowd cheered, but Kofi caught a flicker of hesitation in her gaze. As they danced under the stars, he whispered, "Thank you for choosing me, Oma, even with nothing." She smiled faintly, and Kofi vowed to prove himself worthy of her love. 2 months later, Oma sat in her father's office in the nearby town of Oda, her laughter echoing as she signed a contract. Dressed in a tailored dress and pearl earrings, she was now the assistant manager of Owusu Cocoa Exports, her father's thriving business. Mr. Owusu slid a file toward her. "This role will prepare you to lead one day, Oma," he said. "You'll oversee shipments, meet buyers, and learn the trade. I trust you to make me proud." Oma beamed. "Thank you, Papa. You've given me everything." Back in Asekuma, Kofi sat under a mango tree, his worn notebook open on his lap. He sketched designs for furniture, tables, beds, cabinets, hoping to sell them to a local trader. His phone, an old Nokia, buzzed with no replies to the messages he'd sent to carpenters' guilds in Accra. "God, just one order," he muttered, wiping sweat from his brow. At first, Oma was kind. She'd return home with jollof rice and fried plantains, sitting with Kofi to dream of better days. "Your time will come, my love," she'd say. But as weeks turned to months, her patience waned. One morning, Oma stood in their doorway, dressed for work, her perfume sharp in the humid air. "You're still sketching?" she asked, her tone clipped. Kofi looked up from his notebook. "I sent designs to a shop in Komosi. They might need a carpenter for a big order." Oma scoffed. "Every day, it might or maybe. Kofi, I work long hours while you sit here dreaming. When will you bring money home?" Kofi's chest tightened. "I'm trying, Oma. Carpentry takes time to build a name." "Time," she snapped. "I pay for electricity, Food, everything. I'm tired of being the man in this house. She stormed off, her heels clicking on the dirt path. Kofi stared at his sketches, the lines blurring as shame settled over him. That evening, Kwame arrived with a basket of mangoes and a bottle of Sobolo. "Kofi, my brother," he called, his voice warm. They sat on the porch, the crickets humming around them. Kwame noticed Kofi's heavy silence. "What's wrong? You look like a man carrying a mountain." Kofi sighed. "Oma's changed, Kwame. She speaks to me like I'm nothing. Today, she said I'm a burden." Kwame frowned. "That's not right. You're skilled, Kofi. Don't let her words break you." Just then, Oma returned, her arms crossed. "So, this is what you do? Sit with your idle friend and drink Sobolo while I walk." Kwame stood, stunned. "Good evening, Oma." "Save it," she cut him off. "Kofi, you bring shame to me. My friends whisper about my useless husband." She walked inside, slamming the door. Kwame looked at Kofi. "Brother, you must act, or this will destroy you." That night, Kofi sat on their bed, Oma facing the wall. "Oma, please," he said softly. "What you said to Kwame hurt me. I'm trying every day. Maybe you could ask your father for a small job at his company. Just to start." Oma turned, her eyes blazing. "So that's why you married me? To leech off my father?" Kofi recoiled. "No, I love you. I just need a chance." Oma sneered. "Keep your chances. I won't beg my father for a beggar." She pulled the blanket over her head, leaving Kofi in the dark, his heart crumbling. A week later, Kofi's phone rang. It was Kwame, his voice bursting with joy. "Kofi, I got a job. A big furniture shop in Accra hired me as a designer, with a salary and a motorbike." Kofi smiled, genuinely happy. "That's great, brother. I knew you'd make it." Kwame paused. "You're next, Kofi. Keep pushing." Kofi's smile faded as he ended the call. He looked at his notebook, the pages filled with unsold designs. "When will it be my turn?" he whispered. That morning, Kofi had a meeting with a trader in Oda. With no money for transport, he borrowed Oma's bicycle, promising to return it by noon. At the meeting, he presented his designs confidently. The trader, Mr. Asante, nodded. "I like your work, Kofi. Let's discuss terms." Kofi's phone rang. It was Oma. He silenced it, but it rang again, then again. Mr. Asante frowned. "Is this how you handle business? Answer it." Kofi apologized and stepped outside. Oma's voice was venomous. "Who gave you my bicycle? Are you my errand boy?" Kofi's voice shook. "Oma, I had a meeting. This could have been a big order, but your calls," Oma laughed coldly. "So it's my fault you're a failure? Don't touch my things again." She hung up. Kofi returned to find Mr. Asante packing up. "You're not serious, young man. Leave." That evening, Oma stood in their yard, furious. "Where's my bicycle?" Kofi handed it over silently. "Why do you treat me like this, Oma?" he asked. She stepped forward. "Because you're a disgrace. My friends pity me for marrying a pauper." Kofi's voice rose. "I married you for love, not money." Oma spat on the ground near his feet. "Love? Go love someone as poor as you." Kofi's hand twitched, but he stepped back, horrified. Oma smirked. Touch me, and my father will bury you. The next morning, a loud knock shook the house. Kofi opened the door to find Mr. Owusu and two village elders. You dare raise a hand to my daughter? Mr. Owusu roared. Kofi stammered, I didn't touch her, sir. But the elders dragged him to the chief's palace, where he was humiliated and fined. Oma stood by, her face blank. 3 days later, Kofi returned, bruised and broken. Oma tossed an envelope at him. Sign it. Divorce papers. Leave my house today. Kofi looked at her, searching for the woman he loved, but saw only contempt. He packed a small bag, leaving behind the Kent scarf she'd given him, and walked out. He called Kwame. Can I stay with you? His voice cracked. Kwame replied, Come, brother. My door is open. At Kwame's small home in Oda, Kofi sat on a stool, his face gaunt. Kwame listened as Kofi recounted the betrayal. She lied, Kwame. Her father shamed me, but I never touched her. Kwame handed him the divorce papers. Sign them, Kofi. Start anew. You're stronger than this. Kofi stayed with Kwame, working daily to sketch designs and visit workshops. Months passed with no orders, but he didn't give up. One evening, Kwame returned, grinning. I'm now head designer at the shop. Kofi hugged him. Your win is mine, brother. That night, Kofi prayed. God, I'm happy for Kwame, but please, remember me. The next day, he visited a local pastor, Reverend Answer. I've lost everything, Kofi confessed. The pastor prayed over him. Start small, Kofi. God will open doors. Kofi nodded, unsure but hopeful. In a meeting at Kwame's shop, the owner announced a contract to furnish a new hotel in Accra. We need a skilled carpenter to lead, he said. Kwame raised his hand. I know someone, Kofi Mensah. He's honest and talented. The owner agreed to meet Kofi. Kwame rushed home. Kofi, they want you tomorrow. Kofi's eyes welled up. Thank you, Kwame. I won't fail. The next day, Kofi presented his designs to the shop's board. They awarded him the contract, worth 500,000 cedis. Kofi worked tirelessly, delivering flawless furniture. The hotel's success led to more contracts, and within a year, Kofi owned a workshop, a motorbike, and a small house in Oda. Kofi's name spread across Ghana. He invested in a timber business, buying shares in a sawmill. One afternoon, Kwame visited his workshop. Kofi, why not start a furniture empire? Export to Nigeria, Togo. Kofi smiled. That's the plan, brother. By the next year, Kofi's company, Mensah Designs, supplied furniture nationwide. He hired young carpenters, giving them the chance he once craved. His bank accounts grew, but his heart remained humble. In Asekuma, Oma sat alone in her father's house, the air heavy with silence. 2 years after the divorce, her father's voice haunted her. Where's my grandchild? He'd asked before collapsing from a stroke. At the hospital, the doctor delivered the news: he didn't make it. At Mr. Owusu's funeral, Oma wept under a canopy as mourners praised her father. Days later, 2 men from Gold Coast Loans approached her. Your father owed millions, using his company and lands as collateral. Pay, or we'll seize everything. Oma's world shattered. Her father had hidden his debts, and now Owusu cocoa exports was set for auction. At the auction in Accra, Oma sat in the back, her heart pounding. The auctioneer called out Owusu cocoa exports, starting at 1 million cedis. Bids climbed, 1.2 million, 1.5 million. Then a calm voice said, 2 million cedis. The room hushed. Sold to Mensa Designs. Oma's breath caught. Kofi stepped forward, sharp in a tailored suit, signing the papers. He owned her father's legacy. She followed him outside. Kofi, why? After everything, why take this from me? Kofi's gaze was steady. Your father scorned me, Oma. He had me shamed for nothing. But I didn't buy this to hurt you. I saw a failing business I could save, jobs, families, a legacy. I worked for this, not to spite you. He paused. Life teaches us to respect all, rich or poor. Kofi walked to his car, leaving Oma by the road. She stood alone, her father's house her only asset, her pride in tatters. Kofi drove away, his heart heavy but resolute. He'd rebuilt his life, not for revenge, but for a purpose. This tale reminds us, never judge a person by their present. The one you dismiss today may hold your future tomorrow. Treat all with kindness, for lives will turn swiftly.